Lisa and I finished our Super Saturday of workouts. We're now off to see Hermione in The Beauty and the Beast. This is week 15 of the vlog. Hey, what's up? This week I'm going to talk a little bit about my $1,100 Kijiji Superbike. So when I first got started in triathlon in 2012, I didn't have any sort of bike at all, so I definitely needed to buy something. So I'd gone to the bike show, I'd gone to a bunch of bike shops, but really everything that I saw was out of my price range, so that's why I turned to the used route. So I started looking at Kijiji, and I was able to find this 2008 Pinarello FT1 for $1,100. So it's what I bought. At the time I didn't really know a lot about sizing, so I got relatively lucky that it fits me pretty well. When you're buying used, you definitely need to have a good look at the bike, to especially if it's any sort of carbon frame, looking for cracks or any sort of wear or damage. But overall, I ended up with a really great bike. I wouldn't begrudge anyone who right off the bat bought a really expensive, like $8,000 to $10,000 bike. I mean, if you got the money, buy whatever you want. Whether you think it's the fastest bike, the coolest looking bike, it's your money to do what you want with it. But I had a limited budget, so this is what I ended up with, and I've been really happy with it. I've used this bike now for 5 years, and although it might not be the newest, fastest, most aero bike that exists, by making smart equipment choices, I also don't think I'm giving up a ton of time either. And it definitely has a unique look, so it's really easy to find in transition, and I really like it. So over the years, I have slowly upgraded pieces on my bike, but outside of bottle cages and bar tape, you'd be hard pressed to find anything that I've actually bought new. And something that stands out for a lot of people is that I run a 1x setup. So 1x setups have become quite popular over the last couple of years. It wasn't something that I necessarily chose to switch to. It was kind of something that I was forced to switch to. Before the start of last season, found a crack in my frame near the bottom bracket, and in order for them to fix the crack, wouldn't be able to run a front derailleur anymore. So I now use a SRAM X-Sync 50-tooth front ring, and then a 10-speed 1128 rear cassette. I did decide that I was just kind of own the fact that my bike had a little bit of an amputation. So unlike a lot of people who have 1x setups and they still have their front derailleur shifter in there, I took it off so that when you look at the front of my bike, you can definitely see that there's something missing, but again, it just adds to the unique look of my bike. At the end of the day, my bike is raced. It's not a showpiece, and I've really learned to love some of the grittier aspects of my bike. So to give you a little overview of my bike setup, so as you can see right away, there's the front derailleur shifter that's missing. I use a Vision aluminum cockpit. I have a tri-rig front brake and stem to help clean up the front end. I use a Garmin 500 head unit. Got a Cobb V-Flow saddle that, as you can see, is very well worn. Here's the SRAM X-Sync 50-tooth chainring and the missing front derailleur. Right now I've got a trainer tire on the rear because it's winter here. Actually today's the first day of spring, but still not doing so much outdoor riding. When I'm racing, I'll usually run Continental GP 4000s with latex tubes, and I've got a power tap in order to give me power. So I can geek out on the newest bikes and the newest gear as much as anybody, but triathlon is really, really expensive sport. and you don't need to spend a fortune in order to have a really good competitive setup. So that's kind of what I'm trying to show with my bike, is that it is likely one of the least expensive bikes that are in transition, but I don't feel like my bike is what is something that really holds me back. And you shouldn't feel like you need to have the newest bike or the most expensive bike in order to remain competitive in the races. So that's it for this week's video. I am going to do 2 more follow-up videos on my bike, because I do have some pieces that I've bought to upgrade my bike, and I'm going to be painting my bike as well. So I'm going to show you both that process in a video and then the finished product in a 3rd video in the coming weeks. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to contact me, and until next time, happy training.
Oh, this you crazy mother...